Hello again, everybody. Today I'm here to do a quick video showing you how I did these really beautiful watercolor shimmer leaves for this card using primarily Tonic Studio products. So it's really simple, and in the end you get this beautiful look here. So I'm just going to walk you through all of the steps. First of all, you're going to need some of these Nuvo Shimmer powders. Today I'm going to be using Atlantis Burst and Green Parade, but you can do this technique with all the other colors. They've got quite a variety of different tones, and they're great for all kinds of different projects. Then I'm also going to be using this Nuvo Light Mist Spray Bottle. All that's in here is just water. Very simple, nothing special, but the bottle, you definitely want something like this that's going to give you a really fine mist, so I highly recommend these ones from Nuvo. And then I'm also going to be using a paper that's a little bit better for watercolor. This is the Paper Source Luxe White paper. So it's got a little bit of a tooth to it here. It's a textured paper, so it's really good for using things like these watercolor pigments. And then I'm also going to be using my tangerine die cutting machine and a leaf die that is also from Tonic Studios. I'm going to be using this one right here, but you could do it with any of these leaves. There's all kinds of different colors. There's some yellows and oranges and reds that you could do some really cool fall colors. Today I'm going to be doing some traditional green spring and summer type of leaves. So let's get started. So first I'm just going to take my paper, and I've also got my non-stick craft mat from Tonic down on the table here to protect my work surface, and a paper towel because this is going to get really wet. So I'm just going to unlock my bottle here and then do a really fine mist over the top. You can always test your bottle off to the side to make sure that everything's coming out. There we go. So I'm just going to lightly mist over my paper. And then I'm going to start with the Atlantis Burst. You want to be really careful when you're first opening these. It can come out really fast, and of course your paper is, you could tape your paper down. I'm not doing that today. You just want to tap, get a little bit of this coming out of here. You don't want to go too overboard because these are really highly concentrated. So then I'm just going to hold this down, go over and spritz again. You can see that really starting to get activated there. And it's okay that it's warping. Once it goes through my die cutting machine, that's not going to matter at all. It's going to flatten it all out. And once it dries, it'll be really nice. Making a mess over here. So yeah, you could totally tape this down. Let me show you what that looks like if you're going to tape it down. You can also kind of blot this and go back and add some more in here. So I'm just going to set that one over to the side here. And now for my next one, I'm going to use the Green Parade. I'm just going to tape that down with some painter's tape to show you. You could do that. You don't have to. Since I'm going to cut these down, it doesn't really matter if I get a little bit of the edge blocked off here. So I'm just going to put that down like that. You can even see, even on the paper towel, it's looking beautiful here with all these varying tones. All right, so I'm going to put my Atlantis Burst away. I'm going to take out my Green Parade. And once again, I'm just going to lightly mist my paper here. Get it primed. And I'm going to take my Green Parade. Just sprinkle that on here. Just get a little bit on there to start with, and you can see that it's already starting to get activated in these areas here. Some of the drier areas it's not doing as much, but then we're just going to go back over it with my light mist, and you can see it's really starting to do things now. And you can go over more areas with more water. It really depends on the effect that you want to get. If you really want it to be really concentrated and splotchy, you don't have to add as much water. If you really want those to swirl and mix together, you can add more. So now I'm just going to go through and dab this a little bit, which is going to lift a little bit of the color. That's okay. We're going to go back in with some more. All right, so now I've lifted a little bit of the color off of here, and I'm just going to go back in. Same thing, Green Parade. Just going to add a little bit more. I'm just tapping the bottle to get some of that to come out. And then we're just going to go back over it. And we're just going to leave that and let it soak in for a little bit. I'm going to go back to this one that we started earlier with the Atlantis Burst. I'm going to add some more to that. I try not to squeeze these bottles because you can really get way more powder out of them than you want if you squeeze them too hard or if there's a clog or anything. So tapping is the nice gentle way to get that stuff out of there. If you do feel like you have a clog, you could just stick a pin or a paper clip in there to clear it out and then go back to tapping. All right, so we're getting some nice swirling actions happening in here. I think I'm going to go back in here and add a little bit more of my Green Parade to some of these open areas. Now with these pigments, you can also put them in a little palette if you wanted to and add water and use a brush to paint with them. That works just as well. This is sort of how you achieve a little bit more of a random look. Like I said, it's not going to matter if these warp at all, which they are definitely warping. Once you run it through your die cutting machine, that just kind of irons everything out, so it's not going to be a big deal. And once they dry, they're going to be, you know, kind of crazy shapes. But you can tape your dies down to your paper when you run them through, and everything will stay in place, and it'll be totally fine. So I'm just gonna keep adding to these and let them dry, and then we're gonna come back and do the next step of it. All right, so I will be right back. Okay, I'm back with my two pieces now. They are totally dry. I used my heat tool to kind of speed up the drying process, but you could always just leave these overnight or during the day for a few hours if you don't have a heat tool. And depending on how much water you used, they'll dry up pretty quickly. So now you can kind of see, hopefully the camera can pick this up, you see that shimmer that's happening in there. You've got all of these varying tones and the shimmer powder in there. Now this one, a lot more of the blue showed up with this one. You can kind of see that there's a lot of varying green tones in there as well, but overall it came out pretty blue. So depending on the project, this might not work for the leaves that I want to do. I'm still going to cut some out and see what it looks like. Sometimes, as you can see, these are kind of a hot mess. So sometimes when you look at these, they don't really look like anything yet, but if you die cut it, it kind of all comes together. So it doesn't really matter if you've got, like, you know, a really concentrated area and a really patchy area. I mean, it's going to look really cool once it's cut out of the leaf. So let's cut out a couple of shapes here. So I'm just going to grab my leaf die. Looks like this. And I'm just going to kind of pick an area. I think that'll look really cool right there. So I'm just going to use some tape. Tape that in place. Let's see. I want some of those concentrated areas to be right inside of the leaf there. So I'm just going to tape that down. I'm just reusing the tape that I used to stick this paper down to the table. Right. And then I'm going to take my cutting plate, place this down on here. I'll just put a little piece of tape to try to hold that in place. It's going to be tough because your paper is so wrinkly at this point, but like I said, it's all going to flatten out once we run that through the machine. So I'm just going to put my top plate over here. Take this out of the way. Bring in my machine. You can't quite see what's going on here because my machine is really big. Just crank it through. Alright, and that cut really nicely. Now we have these beautiful leaves here with this shimmer and all those different tones of green. It's going to be perfect for a floral card, or even if you want to just do a card of all greenery, you could do a bunch of these in varying tones. You know, mix in some other watercolors so you could get some different kinds of greens. But this is the same, this is the Green Parade shimmer, shimmer powder. That is what I used on this card. So you can see they're very similar. This one I used a lot more of the pigment to get a really bold look. This one I just used a very light application of it. All right, so let's cut out some of the Atlantis burst and see what that looks like. Just leave the tape on my die and peel it off of this paper here. Let's figure out where we want to cut. I think I kind of want to get some of that in one of these leaves. So I think I'm going to do right here. I'll just tape it down. Get my top plate back on here and run it through the machine. And if you guys are wondering what these weird things are on my machine, I put googly eyes on my machine because, of course, more fun that way. Googly eyes on everything, I say. Alright, we're just going to crank this through here. Sorry, this is making my camera go a little crazy. Now this would work in any die cutting machine. I really love the Tangerine though. It's really nice and sturdy, easy to use. It makes great cuts. So let's see how this came out. Oh yeah, that looks really good. You got that little concentrated bit in there and some patchy areas. I really like how that came out. Now this is definitely more blue, like I said, but that could totally work. It would look really good with, you know, with like a pink or gold flower. That would be really nice. So you could do this with all kinds of different leaf dyes. I actually have a variety of them right here. I think I'm going to do this one next and see what this one looks like since I have a large area open and I have my ones in the back are popping off here. So let's see. This one is a little bit different. This one actually does some embossing as it cuts as well. Let's just do this large area right in here. Just stick that down there. so this is going to give a All right, sorry about that little skip there. My phone decided it was time to stop recording. So, to pick up where I left off, this is how that piece came out, and you can see, you can kind of see the embossed leaf veins that are on all of the leaves here. It turned out really nice. You've got all that variation in there. So now if you wanted to go to put this on a card, you could curl these up to give it some extra dimension, or just leave it flat, layer it with some of the other leaf pieces to get, a different effect going. There's all kinds of things you could do with this. So this is just my quick little project that I did today to show you some of the uses. I'd love to know how you guys are using the Nuvo shimmer powders. We've used 2 of the colors today. There are 8 different colors in total of these right now, so be sure to check those out and let me know what else you'd like to know about shimmer powders or what other projects you'd like to see. All right, thanks for stopping in, and I'll see you in the next one.